Go down, Moses, down to Egypt's lake, and tell Pharaoh to let my people go.
Yahweh, Yahweh, they don't know who they oppressing. They harden their hearts to your message. All these plays gon' teach them a lesson. Pharaoh 45, Pharaoh 46, even Pharaoh 47. Presidents fall, presidents rise. Still I cry, reach the heavens. Different players, same game. Different labor, same pain. Yesterday we put our trust in man, and today we do the same thing. When will we turn to our maker? When will we learn? We love people that hate us. On our backs that they earn. If we was enslaving, this would be no nation. We keep it sustaining, but it's us that they hating. What goes around, man, comes around. Wars coming, I can hear the sound. We built them up, they kept us on the ground. What goes up must come down.
Go down, Moses, down to Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Go down, Moses, down to Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go.
Yahweh, Yahweh, we need you. You show me enough, I believe you. You treating us the same way we treat you. Just like some trash, we are not needed. Show me some mercy, we are depleted. They tryna hurt me, they got no reason. From Cali to Jersey, we are in Egypt, yeah. We some Stockholm slaves, we don't wanna let the chains loose. Get abused but remain mute. We refuse to see plain proof. We're in love with the lies, the truth is a light, but we cover our eyes. We love walking blind, we digging their gold, but we do not mind. We so dumb, yeah, we damaged, so our enemies take advantage. We cook their steaks and their salmon, while all our streets full of famine. So how it's on them we dependent. We are the fuel to their engine. They burned us up and enough's enough. Yahweh's coming back with vengeance.
Thus said Yah, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil. Let my people go. Let them come out with Egypt's spoil. Let my people go.
Let us go. Let us go. Let us go. Or else Yahweh gon' pull off his belt. You gon' watch your country melt. You gon' relinquish all your wealth. If you know what's good for your health, man, let us go. Let us go. Let us go. Cause you gon' discover darker days ahead. Find death at your address. So you better do what Yahweh said, or it's gonna be the worst thing you'll regret, man. Let us go.
Testing, testing, testing. Right. Thank you for allowing me to get my audio together. Praise Yah. All right. I'm loving this. So I'm going to turn to the east. We're going to bow our heads. We're going to pray to the Almighty Yah. First, I just want to thank the Almighty Yah for this new month that we're entering. Praise the Almighty Yah. Praise Yah for the new moon. Hallelujah. That's a celebration. Praise the Almighty Yah. I am so grateful that we got to live to see another month together. We are witnesses to the witnesses in the skies. Praise the Almighty Yah. Please forgive me for my sins, transgressions, and iniquities, Yah. Forgive me for my sins as well as my foreparents' sins. I've sinned greatly, even beyond my foreparents, Yah. And I just pray that you will forgive me for those transgressions. And don't strike me dead, Yah. Please have mercy on your servant. And as we go forward in this Bible study, Yah, I pray that you'll guide my tongue, and anything that I say wrong, I apologize in advance, Yah, because you know I don't mean it. And Yah, please correct me. I love your correction, Yah. I love your correction, your mercy, your ways, your laws, your righteousness, your purity, Yah. Thank you, Master. Please look out for all of those who are in need, Master, in this new month, and all of those who have passed away, Yah. Yah, rest their soul, rest their spirits, Yah. Praise your almighty name. But I thank you, Master. I thank you that we get to go into a new month, and your new year is right around the corner, Master. And we get to celebrate a new year together, Yah willing. I'm so grateful for this life, Master. I'm so grateful for this experience. And I don't never want it to end, Master. I don't never want it to end, Yah. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, Yah, and only you, my strength and my Redeemer. Hallelujah. So, welcome back to another live. Again, thank you for allowing me to get my audio straight. I do appreciate that time and you being patient with me. So, the title of this video is YAH Great Law. This is Yah's Great Law. Remember Egypt. Praise Master Yah. Right? But before we get into that, I just want to establish something. First and foremost, I want to establish something before we go into Ezekiel. Tonight's going to be a long night. It's fixing to be a long night, y'all. Fixing to be a long night. Yes, it is. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12. Ecclesiastes 12. And in Ecclesiastes 12, I am going to read starting at the 12th verse. Give me one moment. All right. Is my audio back up? I am going to read starting at the 12th verse. Give me one moment. All right. Is my audio back up? Yes, it is. Okay, my audio is back up. All right, y'all. So in Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 12, it says, "And further by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of man." This is the whole duty of man. So this is all you need, people. This is all you need. This is the only source that you need. Praise the Almighty Yah. This is the only source that you need. Look no further. Praise the Almighty Yah. Fear Yah and keep the Creator's commandments. This is our whole duty. Nothing else is required of us on this earth, as long as we know that. So while we're wearing ourselves out, we're getting tired, all this studying that we're doing and other books and writing books, and this is all we need. So now that we've established that, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20. And let's go to the 32nd verse of Ezekiel 20. In Ezekiel 20, verse 32, it reads, "And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that you say, We will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. As I live, saith Yah Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yah Elohim, Master Elohim." So the Most High tells us that he's going to rule over us with fury poured out. The Most High tells us he's going to plead with us in the wilderness. He's going to judge us in the wilderness face to face, like he pleaded with our foreparents in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. Praise the Almighty Yah. So don't forget, this is very significant when we're talking about Egypt over and over and over. We're talking about Egypt. We're talking about the laws of Yah over and over. The Most High repeats it. It's very repetitive, very redundant. Let's go to Deuteronomy 23, because I remember we talked about in the last video servants and Hebrew servants and who was considered a slave. The heathens were the slaves in the land of Israel, and the Hebrew servants, we served for 6 years, and then in the year of Jubilee, you had to let us go. right? In the 7th year. Well, let's let's continue on in Deuteronomy 23 just a little bit. I just want to cover some of these additional things, these additional laws. Deuteronomy 23 and verse 15. Before we really get into everything else we're going to talk about in the video. So in Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 15, it reads, "Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him." So this is a law for runaway slaves. This is a law for runaway slaves. See, the laws are very different, as you can see. If a slave runs from his master, when it comes to our laws in Israel, you don't return them back to their master. You let them live in your community. You let them dwell there with you. You understand? We don't have these unfair laws. There's a reason he ran, right? There's a reason. And if he's coming to the nation of Israel, he should be safe, right? Runaway slaves don't get returned back to their masters, right? Let's go to the next chapter, which is Deuteronomy chapter 24 and the 14th verse. Look at this. "Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of your brethren or of your strangers that are in your land within your gates." You understand? "At this day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon him, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto YAH, and it be sin unto you." So you don't oppress the poor, and you pay them their wages in the same day. The same day that they work. Go ask your corporations of today if they're willing to do that. You understand? Do you see how these laws are much higher than the laws that we go by today in the lands of our captivity? These laws are much more fair. These laws are much more just than the laws of man today. You understand? Because the Most High understands man better than we do. You're always going to have the poor. You're always going to have people who are servants. And that's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But you're always going to have this order in the kingdom. You're always going to have this order. As long as we have humans, this is the order. Everybody has a different spirit. Everybody has a different perspective and outlook on certain situations. And you have people who don't mind being servants, don't mind being slaves. I don't mind being a servant myself. You understand? And you have to get past that. You know, we have this mentality that, everybody has to be the leader. And that makes no sense. Everybody has to be the one who has all the say and the final say. Everybody's the chief. And there are no servants. There are no followers. And people fail to understand that the chief is even a follower himself. The chief is also a follower. The chief is also a servant of Yah. So, we have to get past all of this petty stuff that we've been taught in this current system. It's very egotistical. It's very vain. Even in the animal kingdom, there's a hierarchy. There's an order to things. You can see the order. Everybody's not the head in the animal kingdom, and the pride, and the flock. Everybody is not the head. Everybody's not the lead. You understand? Everybody has a certain position. We all have certain positions. And so once we get in those positions, of course, the Most High is going to give us our job description. The Most High is going to let us know what our duties are, our tasks, our assignments in these positions. So understand that, and understand that there's laws to everything in this world. There are laws, and laws aren't anything but organization, order. Because we have a God of order, a creative order. We have an Elohim of order. So of course we're going to have laws. Laws make sure everything runs smoothly on this earth. And this is why we need them. This is why we desire them. This is why we should desire them. Because it brings order. It brings a happier life. An easier life. Because now everyone knows their role. And so there's not too much on one party and too little on the other. But everything is evenly distributed like it's supposed to be. And this is how we do things as humans. You understand? This is teamwork, people. Teamwork. Let's go. All right, verse 16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children. Thought we should add this in here. Neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. So we're not putting children to death for the sins of their parents. We're not putting the parents to death for the sins of their children. We don't practice things like this. And if this is a law, well, the Creator wants you to know, and the Creator wants to make it clear that this is not something that is considered righteous. I don't care what symbolism is placed on it. I don't care what idol is placed on it. It does not trump this law. It does not bypass this law. Period. We're not putting anyone to death for anyone else's sins. This is not something we practice as humans. Do you understand? Okay. So, verse 17. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and YAH thy Elohim redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. Do you understand? There we go again, talking about Egypt. We were slaves in Egypt. We were strangers in Egypt. So we're not going to pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. We're not going to pervert the Most High's laws. Do you understand? When it comes to the people of the land, we look out for the people of the land. If everyone is following the righteous laws of the Creator, we're looking out for them. We're looking out for them. Because we're not wicked. You understand? We don't pervert the laws of the Creator. Praise YAH. All right. So, don't oppress the poor. Pay their wages same day. And that's just to cover some of the things that we did not cover in the last live regarding laws of slaves or servants. All right, now let's get into these dietary laws, because I know I said in the last live we're going to get into these dietary laws. So we're going to get into these dietary laws. And you already know that is in Leviticus chapter 11. Well, before we get into Leviticus chapter 11, I would like to establish some things first, because I just want us to remember some things before we get into Leviticus 11. Let's just remember some things first. And be grateful, praise Yah, that the Most High has given us this knowledge and this understanding, right? In Genesis chapter 1, let's go to Genesis chapter 1 first before we go to Leviticus 11. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, because I just want to remind y'all of something. I know people are like, but hey, we got to consider, right? We got to consider. I love it. I love it. But, a lot of people are not ready. And that's okay, because as long as you're going by the righteous laws of Leviticus 11, you don't have anything to worry about, right? But in Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, let's start there. It reads, "And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good." So the Most High gave us these plants, these herbs, this vegetation, the grains, and all of these wonderful things, right? Now let's go to Genesis 1, verse 29. So in verse 29 of Genesis 1, it reads, "And Elohim said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." Let's keep going. "And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat." And it was so. So originally, right, you know where I'm going with this. Originally, we were herbivores. We were vegan, vegetarian. We ate a plant-based diet. Originally, we did not eat animals originally. That's not something that we partook in. Even the animals, all of them were natural herbivores. Even the animals were. You understand? And this is what the Most High intended for us. He intended for us to be plant eaters. And what better diet is there than to eat the vegetation? Yes, I will defend it. I'm defending that, because that's what I love and that's what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? And so, if this is how the Most High intended for it to be in the beginning, then most of us, we should strive for this. Most of us should try to do more of this, you see, in our diets. We should, right? That's a blessing. But again, as long as you're following those righteous Levitical laws and Leviticus 11, you're fine. You understand? You're absolutely fine. But let's move on. Um, let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2, which is the next chapter. And let's read verse 9. And it reads, "And out of the ground made YAH Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil." So you see right here it says, the Most High grew every tree that is pleasant to sight and what? Good for food. Good for food, right? The first dietary laws. Let's go to a couple verses down to verse 16. The first dietary laws the Most High tells us. "And YAH Elohim commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die." So we're talking about some strict dietary laws here, right? Don't eat of a specific tree, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or you will die. But you can eat of all the other trees of the garden. You can just pick fruits and just eat all of the vegetation in the trees. Okay? You can eat all the plants you want to eat. The Most High only required us to refrain from eating on one tree. And couldn't do that, unfortunately. But plants for food, yet again. And these were the original dietary laws, right? Now, we're also going to talk about why it was necessary for us to incorporate meat in our diets, right? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Now, go over to Genesis chapter 4. In Genesis chapter 4, we're going to start at verse 1. Okay, in Genesis 4 and verse 1, it reads, "And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from YAH. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto YAH. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and the fat thereof. And YAH had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell." Now, in this instance, our forefather Abel brought a peace offering or a free will offering, and so did our forefather Cain, right? To the Creator. However, there is no proof that it was eaten, right? As you see in, where is it? Verse 4, it says, "And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof." All of it, right? Well, in a Hebrew custom and in our traditions, peace offerings or free will offerings were often eaten. while the fat portions were given to Yah. The fat portions were cut off. Those were given to the Most High, right? Burnt on the altar. But in this case, our forefather Abel gave the firstling and of the fat thereof. So there's no proof here that this offering was eaten. And if anyone is saying otherwise, unless they found something, correct me if I'm wrong, if they found something in the word that says otherwise, somewhere down the line, that Abel ate the offering that he offered to the Creator, there's no proof that it was eaten. It was just an offering, a peace offering, a free will offering, right? So just to clarify that and move on to why, and to also add that Yah talks about these types of offerings eaten in Leviticus 7 and Deuteronomy 12, if you want to know more about that. But moving on to why it was absolutely necessary for us to incorporate meat into our diets. So let's go to Genesis chapter 9 with our forefather Noah, where the Most High tells our forefather Noah in verse 3 of Genesis 9, every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. So he's given him a commandment not to eat the blood of the animals. You can eat the animals now, but don't eat the blood of the animals, because that's unclean. That's the life of the animal, right? He gives us more dietary laws. And why was it absolutely necessary for them to incorporate meat into their diets? Because there was a flood. Everything died. The only thing to be eaten would be animals, right? You go to Genesis chapter 7, which is a couple of chapters before that. And let's start at verse 19 of Genesis 7. It says, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beast and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. So it names all of the moving creatures, all the flesh that died. And then all, in verse 22, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed. That would be the vegetation. That would be the plants, right? Right? Every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground. Both man and cattle and the creeping things and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the heaven or from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Y'all see that? 150 days. 150 days. Now, common sense will tell us that most land plants died because they were submerged in water for over 150 days. They can't even live submerged in water past 7 days, right? So we're talking 150 days. That's months, y'all. A tree cannot survive A land tree cannot survive in that. Land plants cannot survive submerged in water that long. It killed the grass, it killed everything on the earth. And um, when the water finally decreased or receded, right? Um, we all know it takes from several weeks to several years for a lot of plants to grow, right? For a lot of food to grow. So while forefather Noah and his family were waiting for the vegetation to grow back on the earth, for God's green earth to flourish again, they had no other choice but to eat animals. So the Most High allowed them the option to eat all of those animals. Right? Now, of course, the Most High can do what the Most High wants to do. And the Most High he gave permission to eat animals. Surely he could have made manna drop down from the sky. Nothing is impossible for Yah. But the Most High decided to permit them to eat all of these animals. Just don't eat the blood. You see? So, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 47. Let's go to Ezekiel 47. And there. Okay, so if you're at Ezekiel 47, I'm just going to read verse 12. And in Ezekiel 47, verse 12, it reads, "And by the river, upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine." So this is showing you how blessed these plants are, because they're connected to the Most High's temple. So the Most High blessed the fruit of the land, the vegetation, the plants, for food and for medicine. It's a blessing to have these things. And, we shouldn't be splicing and doing all this GMO stuff and messing up the Most High's vegetation, because we're only messing up humanity when we do that. And of course, the wicked don't care about that. But that's what's happening. We're messing ourselves up, which is really dumb. It's foolish. We're messing ourselves up when we mess up the Most High's greenery, the Most High's land, right? Let's go back to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 8. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 8. The Most High tells us in Genesis chapter 8, in verse 21. And YAH smelled a sweet savor. This is after our forefather Noah's offering. A sweet savor. And YAH said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. And what did the Most High mean by that? He's not going to curse the ground for man's sake. Well, let's go over to Genesis 9 and verse 11. It says, And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. So Elohim said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. The Most High made a covenant with all of the living, and the earth included, that he would no longer flood the earth and destroy the earth by flood for man's sake. Do you understand? Because once the earth is destroyed by flood, everything in it dies. Everything in it dies. Nothing can escape it. Nothing. And if, the earth is destroyed by fire, same thing. So the Most High saves who he wants, does as he pleases, and this is just the way it is. It's the Most High's earth. And these are the things that we have to accept. The Most High is in full control. We are not in control of any of these things. So the Most High, he gives us these dietary laws, starting in Genesis, telling us what we should eat in the very beginning. When the Most High tells us that's what we should eat, then that's what we should eat. That's the best thing for us, right? As humans. So now that we've got all that established, let's go on to Leviticus 11. Let's go to Leviticus 11 and talk about these righteous laws for eating the flesh. In Leviticus 11, I'm going to start at verse 1. And that's the thing I love about eating plant-based. It's because it's so simple. And it's so straight to the point. Like, there's nothing to complicate it. It's just simple and straight to the point. It's man that goes in there and messes everything up. We're the ones that mess everything up. But the Most High made everything perfect. Everything was perfect. And then what do we do? All right. Leviticus 11 and verse 1. So it says, And Yah spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall you eat. So it has to be parting the hoof, right? Cloven footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts. Talking about these ruminant animals and how they digest things in their system and regurgitate and eat it again, for nutrients. So it has to have all these qualities. If it doesn't have every quality that is named in these laws, it's unclean. So a cow, a sheep, and goats, animals like that would be considered clean animals to eat, right? And deer. Let's go to verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he chews the cud, but divide not the hoof. He is unclean unto you. So you don't eat camels. No matter how hungry you might find yourself out in the wilderness, you do not eat camels. That is breaking the laws of the Creator. And there's a reason behind these things. When you do your research on a lot of these animals, they have certain diseases. They cause certain illnesses. They have certain parasites and certain things that harm them and can harm humans. And so we do not eat the things that the Creator does not allow us to eat, does not permit us to eat, to keep us safe. This is before your scientists came out and they did any type of research on these animals. The Most High already knew what was clean and unclean, because the Most High created all these things, right? So you go on to verse 5. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And that, I believe, was some sort of rodent-looking creature. It looks like a rodent to me anyway. But we're not supposed to be eating certain things, no matter how good they might taste to you. Or where you might be traveling to, and that might be their a traditional cuisine in whatever country you find yourself in. You cannot partake of some of the foods that certain countries eat, because they're abominations to the Creator. They're not clean animals. They're abominations to you. You're not supposed to eat them, right? So let's move on. Verse 6, and the hare, right? We don't eat rabbits because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And I know a lot of people like eating rabbit soup, especially in the country. People eat rabbit soup and they eat things like this, and opossum and strange, abominable creatures that should not be eaten just because they're there, right? Verse 7, and the swine, oh, that's a popular one, the pig, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he chews not the cud, he is unclean to you. And pigs have all types of disease. They're filthy creatures. Absolutely disgusting. And the last time I had pork that I was aware of, I was 18 years old. And it tasted rotten, almost spoiled. I didn't like the taste of pork chops. I didn't like the taste of ham. I didn't like these tastes because the meat tasted spoiled, right? It tasted rotten. And that's because it is. It's abominable. It's not something that we should be eating, right? And we'd be considered unclean. So, verse 8 reads, "Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you." And just because we have grown accustomed to eating certain things because it's tradition, because it's been passed down to us by our families, doesn't make it right. Just because we've acquired a taste for certain things doesn't mean that we should be eating it, if that makes sense. It's like if all you ever ate, all someone ever fed you was cotton candy, and you've acquired this taste for cotton candy. Well, we all know that that's ridiculous. We all know that we shouldn't eat cotton candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? Because not only is it unhealthy for you, but it's going to cause a lot of problems, dental problems, a lot of problems. You'll be a diabetic before you know it. This is not something that we should practice just because it's something that you've inherited from your relatives doesn't make it right, right? Doesn't make it healthy, and it doesn't make it good. You just acquire a taste for it, right? So let's go on to verse 9. "These shall you eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall you eat. And all that have fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but you shall have their carcasses an abomination. Whatsoever has no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you." So if it doesn't have fins and scales, again, we don't eat catfish. Okay, we don't eat swordfish. We don't eat things that just don't even look like they should be eaten. Like, would you eat a blobfish? Probably not, right? You shouldn't eat sharks. You shouldn't eat dolphin. These water creatures they're unclean. And when you eat things like that, it's not even really like you eat catfish. I know that's another Southern classic. Catfish. That fish is so disgustingly slimy. Like, I can't even, I wouldn't even be able to enjoy the fish, the taste. You know, I wouldn't even be able. Now, pompano, I don't know about y'all, but if you haven't tried pompano, okay, and I haven't eaten fish in a minute, but if you haven't tried pompano, like you should try pompano. Pompano is a really good fish. It tastes so good. Salmon is good, you know. There's certain fish that you can eat, and then there's certain fish that you should just absolutely stay away from. Don't touch it. Let it be, right? Leave it alone. Don't be eating snails and all types of seafood. shrimp and lobster and crab. Ooh, really? And I have to admit, I used to love shrimp. I used to love shrimp when I was a teenager. And I realized I had to give it up when I learned about the Most High's dietary laws years later. I had to stop eating it. I had to stop eating it. So, a lot of these things, again, you've acquired a taste for it, you enjoy it, doesn't mean it's clean, doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's good for you, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of these shellfish are so polluted, they cause so many health issues. You can get your omega-3s and everything else from the clean fish. You can get the same nutrients and everything you need from the clean fish. You don't have to eat something that's abominable to you. You don't have to kill yourself. You understand? Because Yah will kill you. The Most High will kill you. The Most High is not playing with us when it comes to these laws. All right? So the Most High tells us to do something. The Most High tells us to live a certain way. The Most High tells us to eat a certain way, to be a certain way. Take heed. Consider these things, right? If we really want to do the right thing, we should consider these things. We should change our ways because these are our ways. These are not the Creator's ways. See, we have it all twisted. We think that when we're practicing our own ways, we're doing something right. We're good. No, you're doing something that you agree with. You're doing your own ways. You're not practicing the Creator's ways. See, the Most High gave us all free will. He gave you a choice. You can choose good, you can choose evil since the very beginning. And when we choose our own way, we're choosing evil, right? So that's just another thing to point out, you know. These laws are that serious. They're that serious. People look at them and are like, oh, that's old and it's done away with. No, it's not. It's not. This law came with this earth. And the Most High gave it to us. Because this is how we should live. And these are laws that we should go by. These are clean laws. Right? So, let's continue. Verse 12. Whatsoever has no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. And these are they which you shall have an abomination among the fowls. So now we're talking about things that fly, right? They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the ossifrage and the osprey or the osprey and the vulture and the kite after his raven after his kind, and the owl and the night owl and the cuckoo and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl and the cormorant and the great owl and the swan and the pelican and the gear owl and the stork and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing and the bat, all fowls that creep, going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. Okay, so now we're talking about these creepy, crawly insects, right? I'm going to get into that. But we're not supposed to eat vultures, right? And bats, and things like that. We're not supposed to eat ostriches, the heron, or anything like that, right? And to be honest with you, just to stay on the safe side, The only bird I would probably desire to eat would be a quail. Because the Most High fed it to the Hebrews. And so the Most High is not going to give them something that's abominable, right? He gave it to them until it started coming out of their ears and noses, but the Most High did not give them an abominable bird to eat. So that's just, another thing to consider. Let's move on. Verse 21, yet these may you eat of every flying creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them you may eat: the locust after his kind, the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. Right? Now, I have to admit, I have eaten crickets, and I have to say they're quite scrumptious. I have not eaten locust yet. I have not eaten the grasshopper. One day, I'll have to get around to that. But crickets, they have, sometimes can taste like popcorn, and sometimes they have like a nutty flavor depending on how you cook it. It might even sometimes taste like seafood, depending on how you cook it, right? But and the seasonings and all that you use. But we can eat crickets. We can eat grasshopper. We can eat the locust, y'all. We can eat it. There's nothing wrong with that. And they're good, right? You don't have to eat something that's well, I mean, knowing the wicked world that we live in with Bill Gates and them, they probably have GMO crickets and grasshoppers out there. Who knows, right? They probably do. I wouldn't be surprised. But, hey, these are things that the Most High permitted us to eat. We're allowed to eat things like this, right? But those other little creepy crawlies, we can't eat them. We can't eat palmetto bugs, roaches, and things like that. We don't eat the other bugs that have wings and they can fly, but they don't hop, right? You don't eat flies. You don't eat dragonflies, right? You don't eat ladybugs, right? We don't eat ants. We definitely do not eat worms of any kind, right? We don't eat stuff like that. And I know in some cultures it's permitted for them. They do that in their culture. But the Most High did not permit us to eat things like this. And He wants us to be that example, to show the world what and what not to do on this earth, to keep this earth, to live with righteous laws. Okay? And anybody can adopt these laws. Anybody can live righteously and clean if they choose to, if they desire to. You just have to stop doing what you've been taught. All of us. We have to stop doing what we've been taught, and we have to do what the Creator is teaching us to do. Forget about what your parents taught you to eat and your grandparents taught you to eat. If it wasn't following the Most High's laws, if they weren't following clean, righteous laws, when it comes to your diet, drop it. Listen to who created you, right? Who knows best what should be going in our bodies than the one who created us? Who knows best what's best for us in our bodies than the one who created our bodies, right? Your parents didn't create you. They brought you into the world, but they did not create you. So, yeah, that's another thing to consider. Let's keep moving forward. In verse 24, and for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until even. And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until even. So even touching the carcass, the dead animal or insect that is unclean, that's an abomination, will make you unclean. So we really have to be careful. And living in this filthy world, there's just no telling. If you touch something that was unclean died on, there is no telling. And so we have to be careful and we have to be mindful in all our ways and just be as clean as possible. You understand? We have to be as clean as possible because we're in an unclean society. We're in a society that teaches us that dietary laws don't matter, right? We're in lands where you can eat whatever you want, do as thou wilt, eat what makes you happy. And that's not really, I guess they think they're being polite. I don't know. I guess they think they're being kind, but that's not a righteous law. We should have dietary laws. We should have restrictions on what we can and cannot eat. We should have limits. We should have order, right? Because everything was not made to be eaten. In verse 26, it reads, verse 27. No, it was verse 26. In verse 26, it reads, the carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof, and is not cloven footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Every one that toucheth them shall be unclean. And whatsoever goes upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. Whosoever toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the even. So we don't eat dogs. We don't eat cats. We don't eat bears, right? We don't eat animals like that. They're unclean and they walk on their four paws, right? So, no, we don't do stuff like that. We're not supposed to. Verse 28, and he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. They are unclean unto you. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth, the weasel and the mouse and the tortoise after his kind, and the ferret and the chameleon and the lizard and the snail and the mole. Again, we don't eat the pet store. Okay? We don't eat the animals in the pet store. Right? Those are unclean animals. Those animals are unclean to us. In verse 31, these are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever does touch them when they be dead shall be unclean until the even. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean until even, so it shall be cleansed. So anything that you're using, any outfit that you have, any tools that you use, things like that, things that you work with, right? Things used for decoration, things that you utilize for crafts and setting things up, things for carpentry, things like that, right? In verse 33, and every earthen vessel whereunto any of them fall, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and you shall break it. of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunk in every vessel, every such vessel shall be unclean. Why? Why do we break these things? Why do we not save these things just like we save the tools and all the other things that we use? Is because, well, these things are going in our bodies. Remember, we cannot eat these things. And so you cannot eat something. If, say, a roach died in your bowl, and or I don't know why a roach would ever die in your bowl, but hey, if if a roach died in your cup, or something, that break it. Don't eat out of that dish. Don't eat out of that pot. It's unclean. Okay, it falls in the water that you're pouring in the food. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Right? Or any unclean insect, for that matter. Right? Any unclean creature, for that matter. You break the vessel, because we don't want nothing going in our bodies that's abominable, right? Whether it be in everything, in verse 35, and everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be oven or ranges for pots, they shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit, wherein there is plenty of water, shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed, which is to be sown, it shall be clean. Right? But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you. So this is a good example, because when you are, for instance, say you have eggs that some hens just laid, and you clean those eggs off. Once those eggs are cleaned, you must refrigerate those eggs, right? Because you don't want to allow bacteria to enter into the protective barrier or go through that eggshell once that protective barrier is wiped off of the egg, right? And so it's the same thing when you're dealing with seeds, and you put water to that seed and something unclean falls upon it. Now you're allowing bacterial entry into that seed, and it's no longer considered clean, right? So then, of course, you don't sow it. You throw it out, right? Verse 39. Well, that doesn't mean that you throw it out. Let me not say that. You as a human can't eat it. Let me put it that way. You put that over there in the animal garden. the feed that you're gonna give the animals, if it's something that your animals can eat, right? And you can feed stuff like that to them, right? They eat off the grass, off the ground, and all. They do that, right? But you don't eat that. We don't do that, right? It's unclean to us. That's why it says it like that. So it's unclean unto you. Verse 39. And if any beast of which you may eat die, he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the even. We don't eat anything that dies of itself. We don't eat anything that's been torn apart by beasts, right? We don't eat stuff like that. The Most High is teaching us how to be as clean as possible. And when we live by these laws, you see a change in the world. That's when you see the world decrease in pollution. That's when you see the world become cleaner when we practice laws like this, right? If we all practice this, the world would be a whole lot cleaner. Um, in verse 40, it says, "And he that eateth of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be clean." So we reiterate this again. We don't eat these creeping things. We don't eat snakes. We don't eat these little things that go to the ground. We don't eat things like that, right? "Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever has more feet among all creeping things that creep upon the earth, them you shall not eat, for they are an abomination." So the Most High is making sure you know. The Most High is making it very clear. The Most High is covering all bases. We don't eat centipedes and millipedes and things with all these legs. Okay? We don't eat that. Right? These are not things that we eat. And so there's no excuse when we're presented with these things and we choose to do the opposite of the Creator's commandment, the Creator's law, right? Verse 43, "Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall you make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. For I am YAH your Elohim. You shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am YAH that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt." There we go again. Out of the land of Egypt. "To be your Elohim. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beasts, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten." So the Most High likes to make distinguishments. You see, the Most High, praise Yah, likes to separate things and organize things and put them in order. You understand? The Most High likes to sort things, an Elohim of order. And this is how we should be. We should like to clean. We should enjoy cleaning. We should be enjoying being clean. We should enjoy clean laws. And you really, really think about it. It's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic to be as clean as possible. Very therapeutic. I really thank my mother for instilling that in us as children. You know, because I had a military mom and she was strict when it came to cleaning. She was what they call them clean freaks, right? And so I was, hey, get your butt up, do your chores, get it done, right? So it's something that really we should enjoy. It's very therapeutic. It helps us to maintain a healthy way of living. And this is what the Creator wants for us, ultimately, right? This is what the Creator wants for us as a society of people. Praise Yah. And you want to talk about the springs, when the Most High talks about the cisterns and the laws of the Levitical laws, Leviticus 11 that we just read, and the Gihon spring in Kidron Valley, which gave the cleanest water in Jerusalem, right? We were a clean people, just clean. We enjoyed being clean, right? And a lot of us still do. So let's go to Exodus, because I want to I want to transition into the second portion, remembering Egypt, of our Bible study. Exodus chapter 20. And the very first thing that the Most High says to us, what is the very first thing that the Most High says to us in Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1? Oh, the Most High says, "And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am YAH, thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." So we're going to get into this about Egypt again, because a lot of people have forgotten about our Egyptian brothers and sisters. And a lot of people are confused about our Egyptian brothers and sisters. But we have to be reminded sometimes, when we're seeing things in the world today, we aren't doing anything but witnessing prophecy. The prophecy of the Creator, right? So the Most High tells us He brought us out of the land of Egypt. This is obviously something the Most High doesn't want us to forget, because He says it throughout the whole word, right? Don't forget, the Most High brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Egypt plays a crucial role in the Most High's program, in the Most High's establishment, right? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. You'll probably know where I'm going with this one, right? Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, the Most High tells us, "And Yah shall bring you into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you, thou shalt it no more again. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. No man shall save you," right? No man. So you can't expect people who don't identify with you, and right now I'm speaking to Judah mainly. You cannot expect people who do not really identify with you in the first place to save you, especially when a lot of those nations had something to do with you being put on those slave ships and sold to the Grecians. We're going to talk about it, right? Because I like to say, yes, we still have tribes over in the continent of Africa, but we also still have our Egyptian brothers and sisters. Do you understand? We also still have other Hamitic groups of people who don't identify with us. And then the Grecians are not going to save you. The Grecians are the ones profiting off of your captivity and want to keep you in chains. And no one else, none of your enemies in this world are going to save you, because the Most High said so, Israel. None of our enemies. Do you understand? None. None of them. That means zero. The Most High spoke it. It ain't going to come back void. What'd you expect? Right? Nobody. So you have to depend on who created you. You don't have any power unless you turn to your source. So we have to get over ourselves, people. We really do. No man shall save us. You understand? So now that we understand that, right? Now, Most High tells us in that same verse, we're going to go back to Egypt, symbolizing bondage, but this time on ships. You know he's talking about you. Who else was on the transatlantic? Huh? Who else was scattered to the four corners of the earth? But us, our people. Our people were scattered to the four corners of the earth by slave trade, not through immigration, not by migrating, right? We were not immigrants. We didn't decide, okay, we're going to travel to another place, right? And that we were going to be there, right? We didn't go by choice like so many other nations. We got here through the slave trade. And I can't never let you forget that. The Most High ain't never going to let you forget that. Your history, our history is never going to let us forget that. We got here through the slave trade, through the trade. Praise YAH. You understand? So we have to stop trying to deny the facts and reject knowledge and wisdom and understand this is us. We are the Israelites. You understand? So let's go to Jeremiah. Yes, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16. Jeremiah chapter 16. Get into this. And I'm going to start reading at the 14th verse of Jeremiah 16. And it reads, Therefore, behold, the days come, saith YAH, that it shall no more be said, YAH liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of where? Egypt. But YAH liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he has driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So the Most High is the one who spread our nation, our people, to the four corners of the earth, all over the earth. We were the only ones spread to the four corners. We're the only ones that have the history of going on slave ships, losing our culture, losing our traditions, losing our government, losing our flags. You know, wherever we may be, sometimes we make up our own flags. But we lost our flag as a nation, as a collective, as a whole. That's the flag we lost. With our government. You understand? Righteous laws. Not adopting the governments of the heathen and the way they do things. But the laws of YAH. We lost that. We lost our names. We lost our treasures. We lost our holy things, our customs, our language, our children. We lost the clothes on our backs. Do you understand? We lost everything. And there is no other nation on this earth that can say the same. And they're not what many would say today would be considered extinct. Totally forgotten. We're not extinct. We're still here. We are the lost tribes. We're the only lost tribes. We lost everything. We're the only lost tribes scattered to the four corners of the earth. You understand? That is us. That's our signature. That's our mark. That's our sign forever. That's a sign upon us. That's who we are. That's our history. Claim it. You see? Because we have no. Here's the thing that kind of gets me when it comes to a lot of black people. And I love my people dearly. I love y'all so much. You know I love y'all. You know how much I love y'all. Okay, listen. We have no issue. We have no problem accepting our history and accepting our reality when it comes from the white man's version of it, right? When he tells it in his history books. We gladly claim that. We acknowledge it. We say it's true. We know it to be true. But when it comes from the actual source, when it comes from our people, our ancient ancestors, when it comes from the Most High, we have a problem with it. And I just want to know why. I mean, think about it. Really common sense, think about it. You acknowledge it that we were slaves, sent on slave ships, or taken against our will on slave ships when it comes to the heathens telling you this story. We can sit there and nod our heads, yes, absolutely. We acknowledge that that's the history of our people. But when the Most High gives you the history, we reject it. So let's ask ourselves, why are we continually rejecting the information when it comes from the Most High, when it comes from our ancient ancestors, but then we don't reject it when it comes from people who are not our people? The only reason I can think of is because we're stiff-necked, we're rebellious, we don't want to go by the laws of YAH. Because you know what comes with that. When you accept it from this source, you got to go by the whole law. So let's consider, people. Let's consider, right? In Jeremiah 16, 14 through 15, you see the Most High tells us we're no longer going to be the people who the Most High brought up out of Egypt, but the Most High has rescued Israel from the land of the north, because that's where we are now, right? We're no longer in ancient Egypt like we were in ancient Egypt in captivity, our people. Now we're in different parts of the earth. And the Most High is going to gather us from the four corners. Isn't that amazing? Ask yourself why you can't accept that. Ask yourself why you can't accept that the Most High tells us in verse 15, but YAH liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands where he has driven them. And I will bring them again into their land, their own land, that I gave unto their fathers. That's a blessing, y'all. Who wouldn't want that for us? Why wouldn't you want it for yourself and your children and your people? This is what we want. We want our own land with our own laws, y'all. This is what we want, right? Make up your minds, because we can't have it all. We can't have it both ways. You either want it this way or you don't. And if you want it this way, you have to go by the Most High's law. That's the only way we're going to obtain it, y'all. The only way. All right? Let's go to Jeremiah 23. And it says it again, Jeremiah 23. Let's start in verse 6. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby ye shall be called YAH our righteousness. Therefore, Behold, the days come, saith Yah, that they shall no more say, Yah liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but Yah liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries where I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So if you didn't hear it before, the Most High just wants you to hear it again. He want to repeat it for the ones in the back, just in case you didn't hear that. The Most High is going to not only bring us out, but it says, led the seed of the house. He's going to lead us out. Judah, do you hear us? Do you hear this? Judah, wake up. Israel, wake up. The Most High is going, the Creator. We keep talking about, where is God? Where is God? God is hiding. God, where is God? Your God is going to lead you out of captivity. I know that sounds miraculous because it is. We've never seen anything like it, and never will again. The Most High is going to lead us. The only time that we've seen it was in our ancestors' days. We didn't witness it, right? Our ancient ancestors did when they were led out of the land of Egypt. But we shall one day again be those people the Most High leads up out of captivity. The Creator. Because we were never supposed to be in this predicament. You understand? Don't you understand? That's why there's such a special blessing and a sign on you. When people look at you, they see something special. They see something different. They look at you and they're like, there's no reason you should be at the bottom. There's no reason you should be the tail and not the head. Everybody swagger jacking. Everybody culture vulturing. Everybody taken from us, right? To benefit them. Because they know you have something special on you, Israel. Don't you understand? This is why the Most High is trying to wake our people up so we can see this. There is something special about our people. And this is not just to stroke your ego. This is to show you and help you to consider. Because the nations amongst us are witnesses to this. We are witnesses that there is something different about these people. You understand? It's not just for your vanity. It's for us to consider and to get ready and to prepare for what's to come. Do you understand? So the Most High is letting us know He's going to lead us out of the lands that the Most High has scattered us to once again. And it's not an impossible thing for the Most High to do, because the Most High is the Creator and the Most High has done it before. See, this is not new to the Most High, it's new to us. The Most High does it, it's just what the Most High has done. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2. Because we don't need any confusion about who the Most High's people are and who certain other people are. No confusion whatsoever. Because I want to show y'all something real quick, because a lot of folks, and don't get me wrong, I love my Hamitic brothers and sisters. This is no shade to my Hamitic brothers and sisters. This is no shade to my brothers and sisters who are of the lineage of Ham in any way. This is just to show our people and those who might not have known of other nations that this has not disappeared. That this bloodline did not go extinct. It's still here on the earth today. And a lot of us get confused because of resemblance. And we say, well, we look like certain people, so that must be our people. You know, everybody that you look like is not your people. Your people look like you, but everybody looks like you is not your people. You understand? Everybody looks like you, and that's not to say that you have to, treat them bad. Because again, we don't hate. We don't hate nobody that's not an enemy of Yah. If it's an enemy of Yah, that's when you can hate. Because it's all about the heart. You understand? But we don't hate nobody that... the only people we hate are the enemies of the Creator. That's it. But I want to show you something. In Exodus chapter 2 and in verse 10, what does it say? Read what it says in Exodus 2 and 10. It says, and the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter. Right? And he became her son, and she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water. So this is just to show you that we were one with the Egyptians in our resemblance and the way we looked. And a lot of the culture we share because we were raised up with them, right? This was no mistake. You can't have a white woman find a black child in the water, and then she draws him up out the water, and then all of a sudden, now he's considered a Grecian. Right? Because we know that's not true. We know that they don't look alike. Even if she birthed him out of her womb, he's still going to be a mixture of something else. Just like the Israelite woman who had the child with an Egyptian man, that was an Israelitish child. You see what I'm saying? So this is just proof that we still have people on the earth today who resemble us, but are not us. But then there are those who resemble us right on the continent of Africa as well, and they are us. They are our people. Because remember, we're mixed amongst all the heathens. We are in the midst of all of the heathens, Israel. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. Let's go to Genesis chapter 42. Genesis chapter 42. And so we think that we're like, we are the same people, and we want to take on their ways and their traditions. We want to worship their gods, their idols, and practice the ways of their ancestors, even though the Most High forbid us from doing that. He forbid us not to do that. We're not supposed to take on the ways of the heathen. This is what got us in trouble in the first place. So we want to do voodoo and hoodoo and all the stuff that we do, and you're taking on the customs of other nations that have nothing to do with Israel. Just because you look like them, just because they look like us, a lot of the times doesn't mean it's us. Do you understand? These people already had that culture going. And it had nothing to do with you. And then you have some of us over in Africa that practice this, of the tribes of Israel, and they are us, right? And they are idol worshiping, because that's what our people do all over the world. We're worshiping idols. But the Most High, like I said, remember in the beginning we were talking about the different seeds and the plants and the animals and the clean and the unclean, and how the Most High likes to make a distinguishment, a separation, because the Most High is an Elohim of order. So the Most High likes to sort things. Here, 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 you go here, you go here. This is organization. Does that mean that you treat each other bad because of that? No, it just means it's order. And there's nothing wrong with having order. We're the ones that like to be all over the place. Why do you think when the languages were everybody had one language, the Most High broke it all up? Why do you think that happened? Because the Most High likes to have order. You understand? Where everybody's all mingled and stuff. Why do you think the Most High break all that up? Because the Most High likes to have order established. Order. Now, if somebody is following the laws of Yah, if they're living righteous laws, doing what they're supposed to do, and they happen to integrate with us, that's fine. That's a blessing. It's beautiful. As a matter of fact, that will happen. But as far as everybody just being just no order, there's no organization, there's no separation, there's no distinguishment. The Most High don't function like that. And the Most High changes not. And the world will never be that way. The world is always going to be in order. It's always going to have an order to it. Always. You're always going to have a clear description of the nations. The Egyptians will remain the Egyptians. The Israelites will remain the Israelites. You understand? Period. Now, in Genesis chapter 42 and in verse 8, it says, "And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not." What does that mean? Joseph's brothers thought that Joseph was an Egyptian. Do you understand? They didn't recognize him. They thought he was an Egyptian. That's how much the Egyptians resemble us. That's how much we resemble the Egyptians. Go to Genesis, or go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 2. Go to Exodus chapter 2. I know we just left Exodus, but go back to Exodus. Exodus chapter 2. And in Exodus chapter 2, praise Yah, I'm going to start at verse 16. And it reads, "Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them, and watered their flocks. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, How is it that you are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock." See? Verse 20. "And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter." So see, these daughters thought Moses was an Egyptian. Do you understand? That's how much we look alike. That's how much we resemble each other. Think about it, y'all. Think about it. And then you have some Egyptians who might be confused, and some of them might think that they Israel too. They might. One thing I will say about the Egyptians, though, is that they were not cursed to be scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. They were dispersed throughout the African nations. You understand? They were dispersed throughout that side of the world. We're the only ones who went on ships to the 4 corners. Israel. Mainly Judah. You understand? Sold afar off. And so we got to get back to understanding how the Most High has established things. These people are these the same Egyptians. These the same people. These the people we was dwelling with. Okay, we was dwelling together. We was living together. Forefather Moses was raised by Egyptians. He was one with the Egyptians. We were like the same people. All right. So let's go to Genesis chapter 9. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. Egyptians had a rich history, just like Israel. You understand? Egyptians, they lost their culture and they lost their history. Well, not their history, but they lost their culture as well. Just like we lost our culture, Egyptians lost their culture as well. And they adopted the cultures around them. But they were Egyptian originally. Isn't that cool? Real Egyptians. This is like when you wake up and you realize we're the Hebrews, we're the Israelites, and people are like, those are the real, like this is a real life Israelite. You know what I'm saying? This is an Israelite. Wow. I get to see one up close and in person. It's the same thing with Egyptians. Egyptians aren't extinct. These are real life Egyptians living on this earth to this day. You understand? All right. So in Genesis chapter 9, I'm going to read verse 25. In verse 25, it reads, "And he said, Cursed be Canaan," or Canaan, "a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." And so you wonder why a lot of the Hamitic peoples, right, on the continent of Africa can be enslaved on the continent. It's because he's a servant of servants. That's the lowest of servants. They were cursed to be the lowest of servants. You understand? Of course, this is a curse the Most High can lift. Because like I said, Egypt was once a great nation, right? But those who are a part of Egypt, because everybody that's over there in the continent is not Egyptian. Don't get it twisted. All right? Everybody over there can't be an Egyptian. All right? And everybody over there certainly is not an Israelite. Okay? But there are still Egyptians there. Okay, people? They're still Egyptians. And they have that curse because they are through the lineage of Ham. They are Hamitic. Egyptians are Hamitic. You understand? And we resemble each other. We look alike. And you might get fooled because even they have curses on them. Just like we have curses on us. They're different curses. And we might have different experiences, but nonetheless, they're still curses. Right? So, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 30. And let's read about some of what's going to happen, these curses on Egypt. Because I did a video like this a while back, but I just want to bring it back up just to refresh our minds, our memories and all that, and get a clearer understanding of the Egyptians. Okay? Our brothers and sisters that are Egyptian. So in Ezekiel chapter 30, we will start at the first verse. And it reads, "The word of YAH came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith Master Elohim, Howl ye, woe worth the day, for the day is near, even the day of YAH is near, a cloudy day. It shall be the time of the heathen." You understand? Verse 4. And the sword shall come upon Egypt, and great pain shall be in Ethiopia, when the slain shall fall in Egypt, and they shall take away her multitude, and her foundations shall be broken down. The fall of great Egypt. Verse 5. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia and all the mingled people, right? A mingled people, and Chub, and the men of the land that is in league shall fall with them by the sword. And see, the continent is still mingled today. You understand? Verse 6. Thus saith YAH, they also that uphold Egypt shall fall, and the pride of her power shall come down from the tower of Syene. Shall they fall in it by the sword, saith Master Elohim. And they shall be desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities shall be in the midst of the cities that are wasted. Right? Wasted, desolate. And they shall know that I am YAH, when I have set a fire in Egypt, when all her helpers shall be destroyed. Okay? The destruction of great Egypt. Verse 9. In that day shall messengers go forth from me in ships, to make the careless Ethiopians afraid. And great pain shall come upon them, as in the day of Egypt. For lo, it cometh. Thus saith Master Elohim, I will also make the multitude of Egypt to cease by the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon. This is that spirit of the Roman Empire. You understand? Babylon. Ultimately brought down by Rome, Egypt. You understand? Verse 11. He and his people with him, the terrible of the nations, shall be brought to destroy the land, and they shall draw their swords against Egypt and fill the land with the slain. And I will make the rivers dry and sell the land into the hand of the wicked, and I will make the land waste, and all that is therein by the hand of strangers. I, YAH, have spoken it. And who is ruling in what we call Egypt today, or what we know as Egypt in the continent of Africa today? Strangers. Right? I mean, is this not a fact? The stranger has taken over that great nation, that great land of Egypt? Is it not desolate and destroyed and wasted? Do we not see this today? Is this not a fact? Why can't we accept this? Why can't we accept when the Most High is giving us this information and letting us know what's going to happen before it even makes it to a European's history book? You understand? Verse 13. Thus saith Master Elohim, I will also destroy the idols, and I will cause their images to cease out of Noph. And there shall be no more a prince of the land of Egypt. And I will put a fear in the land of Egypt. No more a prince. Have we seen a prince of Egypt? Have we seen a pharaoh? There are a lot of Egyptians walking around, but there is no prince. So they have similar curses, is my point. They have similar curses to what the Most High put on us. He destroyed them as a people as well. He dispersed them as well, just not in the way that we were dispersed. You understand? Our punishment was much harsher When we say lose everything, we mean lose everything. Everything. The clothes on our backs. Everything. And it was just the most brutal thing you can imagine. Because of our sins, Israel. You understand? So, in verse 14, and I will make Pathros desolate, and will set fire in Zoan, and will execute judgments in No. And I will pour my fury upon Sin, the strength of Egypt, and I will cut off the multitude of No. And I will set fire in Egypt. Sin shall have great pain, or Sin shall have great pain, and No shall be rent asunder. And Noph shall have distresses daily. The young men of Avon, of Pi Beseth, shall fall by the sword, and these cities shall go into where? Captivity. There's that word. Captivity. The Most High didn't say the Egyptians were going to be extinct. Like they say the Mayans and the Aztecs are extinct, and those people are still here today. Their bloodline is still in the Americas today. Right? The Egyptians didn't go extinct. The Egyptians went into captivity. Just like Israel. At Tahaphanes, or Tahaphanes, also the day shall be darkened, when I shall break there the yokes of Egypt, and the pomp of her strength shall cease in her. As for her, a cloud shall cover her, and her daughters shall go into captivity. Where did Egypt go? And all who supported Egypt, they went into captivity. You understand? These are the lineages of Ham, the bloodline of Ham. They also went into captivity. Do you understand? So we share stories. We share curses. We have similar backgrounds. We all went into captivity. You understand? Verse 19. Thus will I execute judgments in Egypt, and they shall know that I am YAH. Verse 20. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first month, in the 7th day of the month, that the word of YAH came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed, to put a roller to bind it, to make it strong to hold the sword. Therefore, thus saith Master Elohim, Behold, I am against Pharaoh king of Egypt, and will break his arms, the strong, and that which was broken. And I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them through the countries, right there on the continent. It doesn't say anything about going on ships. But right there on the continent, Egyptians are living and breathing today. And Egyptians resemble Israelites. You understand? Verse 24. And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand. But I will break Pharaoh's arms, and he shall groan before him with the groanings of a deadly wounded man. But I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and the arms of Pharaoh shall fall down, and they shall know that I am YAH, when I shall put my sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall stretch it out upon the land of Egypt. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, Most High says it twice, and disperse them among the countries, and they shall know that I am YAH. So Egyptians, you see, they share a similar story. You understand? That was Ezekiel 30. And let's go to now Jeremiah 43. Let's go to Jeremiah 43. And in Jeremiah 43, if you're there, I'm going to start at verse 11. And it reads, And when he cometh, he shall smite the land of Egypt, talking about the king of Babylon, and deliver such as are for death to death, and such as for captivity to captivity, and such as are for the sword to the sword. And I will kindle a fire in the houses of the idols of Egypt, and he shall burn them and carry them away captives. And he shall array himself with the land of Egypt, as a shepherd putteth on his garment, and he shall go forth from thence in peace. He shall break also the images of Bethshemesh that is in the land of Egypt. Okay? All of these idols, praise Yah. And the houses of the idols of the Egyptians shall he burn with fire. So again, the Egyptians will be carried away captive, right? And their idols burned. Let's go to Jeremiah 46, a few chapters over. And if you think there's any power in the gods of Egypt, you are sadly mistaken. The Most High destroyed the idols of the land of Egypt. Jeremiah 46 and verse 19. It says, O thou daughter dwelling in Egypt, furnish thyself to go into captivity, for Noph shall be waste and desolate without an inhabitant. Right? Egyptians go into captivity. Yet again, Most High is letting us know they're in captivity. They're not extinct. They're not somewhere underground hiding. They're people walking around every day right there on the continent of Africa. Egyptians. You understand? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. This is what, a lot of the wicked elite don't want you to know. They don't want you knowing the truth about the Most High's great works. So in Isaiah chapter 11, I'm going to read as a matter of fact, before we even go to Isaiah chapter 11, let's go back and let's read Isaiah chapter 19, or let's go forward rather. Let's read Isaiah chapter 19. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Isaiah chapter 19. Okay. Yeah. In Isaiah chapter 19, I'm going to start at the first verse. And the Most High says, Most High lets us know this is the burden of Egypt, right? In the first verse of Isaiah 19, the burden of Egypt, behold, YAH rides upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And you can just see that all over Egypt. Like it's just a mark, like the mark of Cain. Like it's like everything was petrified in the land of Egypt because the Most High passed over it and did a miraculous thing. He laid it waste. He laid it desolate, just like he did the land of Israel, right? You can only see what the remnants of it, what's left of it. Because that's the Most High's mark. The Most High passed over Egypt. Praise YAH. So, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel master. So what does that mean? He gave them over into captivity. And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Master YAH of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither, the paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof. All that make sluices and ponds for fish. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of the ancient kings? Where are they? Where are your wise men? And let them tell thee now. And let them know what YAH of hosts has purposed upon Egypt. So if we are wise, if we have wise men, right? Come on, Egypt. We should be able to point out this great wonder, this great work that the Most High has laid upon Egypt, right? Where are the Egyptians now? Can anyone answer it? Who are the Egyptians? Well, the Most High is telling us. And the Most High is telling us the fate of the Egyptians and where they are, right? The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt. Even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. YAH has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. No one knew. Egypt didn't even see this coming. You understand? They're wise men. They didn't even see this coming in their own nation, right? Just like Babylon is falling. And a lot of the wicked elites, they don't expect Babylon to come crashing down. And even if they do see it coming, they don't believe they're going to crash with it. Because if you really believe that you were going to crash with the system that you uphold, you would do better. You would do opposite. You would do righteously. Right? But they don't. So let's continue. Verse 16. And in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of YAH of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of YAH of hosts, which he has determined against it. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to YAH of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar to YAH in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border unto YAH. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto YAH of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto YAH because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a Savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them, and YAH shall be known to Egypt. And the Egyptians shall know YAH in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yeah, they shall vow a vow unto YAH, and perform it. And YAH shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to YAH, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. So even in all of this, the Most High is going to heal Egypt. The Most High, after smiting Egypt, because Egypt has been smitten, right? And the Egyptians are going to turn to the Most High YAH. Yes, even Egyptians, you heard that. Even Egyptians are going to turn to the Most High YAH in the last days. Even Egyptians. You understand? And YAH shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know YAH in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yeah, they shall vow a vow unto YAH and perform it. And YAH shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to YAH. And he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptians into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, whom YAH of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. So everybody gonna be getting blessed. You understand? Praise YAH. Everybody is gonna be getting blessed, including the Egyptian, right? So that was Isaiah 19. And let's go to Deuteronomy 23. And we're going to read one more and then we'll wrap it up. So in Deuteronomy 23, the Most High wants us to know something, Israel, in Deuteronomy 23. In Deuteronomy 23, in verse 7, it reads, Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. So we don't hate our Egyptian brothers and sisters. We don't hate our brothers and sisters who are strangers. We don't hate y'all. We're not supposed to anyways, right? We only hate the enemies of Yah. That's who we hate, because the Most High hates his enemies. You understand? We hate the enemies of Yah. Period. We don't hate you because you're an Edomite. We don't hate you because you're an Egyptian. We don't hate you because you're a certain nation. We hate you because you're an enemy. You understand? We hate the enemies of Yah. And does that mean that we're going to go around slaying the people the Most High didn't tell us to slay? Absolutely not. We're not going to take it upon ourselves to do unrighteous things. We go by the order of Yah, period. That's it. But when it comes to this law, we hate when anyone doesn't want to do these laws. When anybody wants to be an enemy of the Creator. That's what we hate. You understand? I don't hate you because you are who you are. And you're my brother, and Most High told me not to hate you anyways. Edom. And the Most High told me not to hate the Egyptian. Period. And I just leave it at that. I don't even go no further when it comes to when the Most High says something that's general. I just leave it at that. He told us not to hate the Edomite. He told us not to hate the Egyptian. And that's just how it is, right? And this is a commandment. So, the last verse I want to go to is Isaiah chapter 11. Because we're going to talk about our brothers and sisters who are still in the continent of Africa. Because we have Israelites who are still in the continent of Africa. We have tribes who are still in the continent of Africa, right? So we cannot disregard them. Because what the Most High tells us in Isaiah 11 and starting at verse 11, the Most High says, and it shall come to pass, well, as a matter of fact, let me start at verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Master, Most High Yah, shall set his hand again the second time. So there's going to be a recovery the first time. So the Most High says he's going to set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. You understand? So the Most High is letting us know we are in all places that the Most High has scattered us, on all these different continents, on all these different places. And the Most High is going to gather us from all of Israel. He's going to gather us, our people, from all these places where he has scattered us. He makes it very clear. You understand? So I just wanted to bring that out and share that information. Praise Yah for giving us this information and this understanding. I pray that the Most High will continue to give us understanding. All glory goes to the Elohim. All glory goes to Yah and only Yah. No idol. Happy new moon. Happy new month, everybody. Praise Yah. I hope somebody got something out of this Bible study today. And I pray you all continue living your lives righteously, doing the right thing before the Creator. Y'all willing, I will come up with another Bible study. We will have another Bible study soon. And shalom.
Woo! Deuteronomy 10, 12. Almighty YAH.
Oh Elohim, what you require of thee? Gotta fear Elohim, to walk all in his ways. Gotta love Elohim, gotta serve Elohim with all of your heart and your soul and your might. Keep his commandments and just do right and choose life. Keeping this, that's the judgment, that's true life for the upright. Circumcised and force can't out for your heart. Listen to y'all, can't follow your heart. It's desperately wicked, the wicked is destined to get it. It's serving to y'all, so I'm definitely with it. Blessed be the witness, the one with ears that can hear, perceive, and listen to sound wisdom. I was walking in the darkness until I found wisdom. Now I'm on a mission, hunting and fishing for y'all, hunting and fishing for y'all. Cut out the wicked, cut out the wicked. Hear the voice of y'all, tell your heart be quiet. It's everything y'all will require, truly inspired. Elohim, praises go high when I walk in the gates of YAH. Gotta fear Elohim, to walk all in his ways. Gotta love Elohim, gotta serve Elohim with all of your heart and your soul and your might. Keep his commandments and just do right and choose life. Keeping this, that's the judgment, that's true life for the upright. Circumcised and force can't out for your heart. Listen to y'all, can't follow your heart. Circumcised and force can't out for your heart. Listen to y'all, can't follow your heart.